In today's video, I'm going to be making this tapestry daffodil. So for the background of this, I'm going to be using Yarn Bee, Yarn ID, and Oats. It is this. It is this color. And since that is my background color, that is the one I'm going to get started with. This is going to be 40 stitches by 40 rows of single crochet with a 5mm hook. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 40 and do 6 rows of the color Oats for the background, and I will meet you back when I get to the row with the first color on it, which is green, which I will be using I Love This Yarn in Light Sage for the green in this today. I will be right back when I get done chaining 40 and doing 6 rows. And I put this little squiggle here in the corner to symbolize the starting point, so I know which side I'm on. It'll make sense as you go along. But also I wanted to center this the best I could. That's why I have this line drawn here, is because I'm removing one of the rows and I'm just adding it here, which is what this is for, plus 1 row. And on some of my other ones you'll see that done on the sides as well as the tops and bottoms. But as I do a row, I like to put an X on each side, because sometimes you're starting from this side and sometimes you're starting from this side, since we're going back and forth. And since right now I'm starting from this side before I add the green, I went ahead and counted how many squares, and there are 25. So I'm going to go ahead and crochet 25 stitches, and then on the 26th one I will add my green and I will show you how I do that. So I am 15 stitches in. So since I'm about 10 stitches away where I need to use the green for the first time, I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. And just kind of making sure this is over it, because I'm going to crochet over it for the next 10 rows just to make sure it's secure in there. And then this way you don't have to weave in any ends, it's already weaved in for you. I'm going to go ahead and make sure there are 25 stitches here. Alright, there are 25. I'm going to go ahead and pull this so there's not too much sticking out. I'm going to undo the 25th one. So I'm on stitch 24. I'm about to do stitch 25. I'm going to show you how to add this color on. So the stitch that is the last stitch before the new color, you're going to go in, pull up a loop like you would usually do, and then you're going to take this color and put it in the front, overlapping the other color, and then grab that and pull it through, and that'll create your last stitch, the 25th stitch. It doesn't need to be green. And then you'll be able to go in and do your green stitch, but since there's only one green stitch, you're going to pull that back forward over the other color, pull that through, and I'm going to go over it just once, and I'm going to leave it hanging in the back, because what I like to do is leave my yarn in the back close to where the next stitch is going to be on the next row, like here on our way through on the second green stitch. I'm gonna probably carry it up until here and then drop it in the back. That way on our way back through I can pick it up here and across the back. You don't have this long loop stretching across. It will make more sense as we go. You'll see what I'm talking about, but right now we have one green stitch. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off and then come back to the 14th stitch before we do the next green one, and I'll show you how we do that. And don't forget, once you finish that row, to mark it off so you can keep track a little better. And also for your second stitch, if it's right above or very close to your previous one, like the different colors, it'll make it a lot easier to follow along with the chart. Sorry, I can't speak. But I'm on stitch 13, which 14 is the last one for the next green. And as you can see, this is where I dropped it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in like I would usually do, but then I'm going to pull this I'm gonna go under this time. Grab the green, pull it through, go into the next stitch, which is the green one. Pull that over, pull that through. So there are 5 stitches to my next green on the next row, so I'm going to carry this over for 5 regular stitches. So I'm going to crochet over this for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm just gonna give that a little tug to make sure you cannot see the string through. But from the front, here's what you have so far. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the green, and I'm gonna finish out this row, and I'll meet you on our way back when we get to the next green. Right, and now I am on stitch 19. So we're about to do stitch 20 so that we can add the green, but before I do that, I do want to say I think it is 18 different flowers. Technically, the wall hanging only needs 16, so it's 4 by 4. So I gave you 2 extra to pick what you want. You can have different options. And also, I'm going to be rating them on a scale 1 to 5, 1 being the easiest, which is what this first one's going to be rated at, and 5 being the hardest, which is what the last one's going to be rated at. And as we go through, they'll get slowly and slowly harder, whether that be the flower is more intricate or there are more colors in it. So I did my best to kind of give you a good range and rate them accordingly. I'm going to do my next background color stitch. I'm going to bring my green up from the back, which is, we carried it over to about this spot to make it easier. Otherwise, we would have had to pull it from way over here. And I feel like tension can get a little weird when you do that in the back, and it starts to make your project kind of like wonky. I'm gonna pick that up from the back. Do 1 green stitch. And then let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the next 6 stitches are gonna be green. Which makes the stitch going into the green stitch the last one. I'm gonna pull that over. I'm gonna grab my background color, which is what I'm gonna refer to this color as. And then my next stitch on the next row is in the same spot, so I'm only gonna go over it once to secure it, and I'm gonna drop it and leave it in the back. And I'm gonna go and finish this row and then come back, and I'll meet you here to do the next green. And don't forget to mark off your rows as you do them, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so I have gone all the way through and I'm here, but before I do the next green stitch, I wanted to point something out. The little squiggle that I mentioned and how that represents what side you're on. When the squiggle shows up on this side when you're going across, that means you're coming from this way. And when the squiggle is on this side and you're going this way, and you're coming from this way. I hope that helps. It helps me keep track of where I'm at. Okay. So now I'm doing the next green stitch. So I do the one before it. I have just 1 green stitch to do. And then I do 2 of the background, 1, then I'm switching colors out on the second one. That's 2. And now we have 7 green. This is the 7th green. And then it looks like on the next row, we're going 3 out for the next green. So I'm gonna go ahead and carry this over for 3 stitches and then drop it. And then I'm going to finish off this row, come back and meet you when I do more green. So there are 13 background stitches before I get to the next green. I'm on stitch 12. And at this point you may notice your string starting to get tangled from going back and forth. My favorite way, and what I feel like is the easiest way to untangle, especially when you just have 2 colors at the moment, is to just grab each one and just let gravity do the work. Like, you can rotate your project if you want, but I just find that much simpler. So now we do our last background color. Pull on the green, and that makes 13 of the background stitches. And then we are going to be doing 6 green stitches. This is the 6th one. I'm going to go ahead and pull that forward. And then pull the background color through. I'm going to do 5 of the background stitches. This is the 5th one. I'm going to pull this color forward. I'm going to do 1 green stitch. And I'm going to do 1 background stitch. And 1 more green stitch. Because there was a green, background green. So it's really fun when you get to go back and forth. That's when it starts getting really tangled, is in areas where you have to do that. And then in the next row, there's 1 green over from where you left off. So I'm going to go over the green once and then drop it in the back. And then I'm going to continue with the background color this way, and I'll meet you when we get right here for the next green. So I am 1 stitch away from doing more green, but before I do, since we had to go back and forth a lot on the last one, don't forget to untangle. And you may think, oh, it's a 1 stitch out from the last stitch, or with this one, you know, it's 4 stitches out from the last one, I'll just count 4 stitches. The reason I like to count each stitch is you may have accidentally skipped a stitch somewhere and not realized it. And if you do just count, oh, this one's 2 after, and you start doing that, you may go several rows in before you realize something's not right. So I like to count and make sure. And then since I count this way, instead of counting every row to make sure there's 40 stitches, I do it every few rows. I stop and I count and make sure there's still 40 going on. If this is your first one, you can count more often if you would like. So I'm going to do my last background stitch. Swap places with the green. Pull the green through, and we are doing 2 green stitches. Pulling that green over, grabbing the background color, doing 1 background stitch. So I'm going to pull that back over, grab this, doing 1 green stitch, pulling that over, then we have 8 background stitches before we have more green. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm on the 7th background stitch of the 8 we need to do. So I'm going to pull up a loop, go over, grab my green. I'm going to do 4 green stitches. 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th one. Pull that green over, pull up the background color. And then it looks like the next time we use green is 2 stitches over. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over the green for 2 stitches. And then drop the green. And then I'm gonna finish off this row and meet you back here. So to get to the next green, you do 10 stitches. I'm currently on the 9th stitch. I'm gonna pull up the 10th one, grab the green and pull through. Then we have 3 green stitches. And then we have 5 regular stitches. But we are introducing our next color after the 5th stitch, which is the petals. And for the petals, I am using I Love This yarn in yellow. And it is a nice bright yellow. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that here so that I'm going over it with the green, just like when I did the green at the beginning. And I'm just pulling that so there's just a little bit left at the end. And I'm going through for my 5th one, pulling this over, pulling the green to the side as well, grabbing that yellow, and it's just 1 yellow stitch for now. And then it looks like we're not using the yellow again until the next row at about the same spot. So I'm going to do 1 yellow stitch, pull that over, pull the green over with it, do my background, do 1 background stitch over both, and then I'm going to go ahead and drop the yellow in the back because I'm not going to need it again until the same spot on the next row. And then I will go over the green 5 times and do a green stitch. And this is the 5th one. Pull that over, and pull that through, and it looks like we're going to do a little bit of a pattern again. So I'm going to do 1 green stitch, pull that over, 1 background stitch, pull that over, and then 2 green stitches. And then it looks like we're doing the green in the same spot again on the next row. So I'm going to go over the green once and then drop it in the back. Now you're currently working with 3 colors, and you're going to work with 3. We're right here. We're going to work with just 3 for a while until we get to this color. But I'm going to go ahead, finish off this row in the background color, and I'll meet you back here when I do the next green. Right, so there are 11 background stitches until you do your first green. I'm currently on the 10th one. However, I do need to untangle, which sadly isn't as easy when you have 3 colors because you cannot make gravity do this for you like when you have 2. And then 11. I'm gonna swap these because I'm in the back currently. Grab this, and we're doing 3 green. 1, 2, switch places, and 3. And then we are doing 2 2 of the background color. Swapping places. And then let's see, we do have more green on this row, so I'm going to carry the green with me. Do the 1 green stitch. And I have 4 background color before I get to my next yellow. That's 3. And then you want to switch places with the yellow. Pull that up. And then going over the other 2 colors, we're going to do 2 yellow. Then grabbing the yellow and the green, we're going to pull those to the side. And then we have 6 background before we do our next green. Until I have 1 on the stitch, drop the yellow, and then finish off the background color. So unfortunately, the recording for this took much longer than I expected. I was expecting each one of these squares to be 1 video, and right now my recording is over an hour and a half long, so I'm gonna have to break it up into 3 or 4 parts for this first one. And this first one was mostly to explain how to do the tapestry crochet, like how to do the bits you need to do to make these projects. So I'm gonna leave it up to you. Do you want me to do every square like I did this video, where I explain each step and each stitch, to where I'll have to break each square up into more than 1 video? Or since this one was the foundation, do you want me to just record the rest, put some music over top of it, and kind of speed through the recording so you can just see it, slow it down, pause it, and watch it as you need to? I'm gonna leave that up to you and let you decide. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the description box below. If you'd like to ask them in a more private setting, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I'll have the link to that in the description box below. I will see you next week for the other part of this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye! In